this week 2 matchup between the New York Giants versus the Arizona Cardinals are two teams that are coming off just surprisingly shocking losses, but for absolutely different reasons. New York Giants went into Sunday Night Football, first game of the season against their division rival, against the Cowboys, and we all know what happened after that. Just absolute shock, just kind of flabbergasted on everything that happened after, honestly, that Andrew Thomas false start in the first drive of the game. And then the Cardinals on the flip side, in my opinion, it was kind of a shocking loss just because of how close it was. Like, they almost beat the Commanders on the road with the quarterback that you just signed a couple weeks ago, who I like Josh Dobbs. I love the story and everything, but just in general, the talent on that team, if we're just being honest, is not that great. So, yeah. I mean, I'm penciling them in for a top 5, and I'm being
generous.
A top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I'm very liberal with saying top 5, So, I think both teams are going to want to kind of definitely. Well, Cardinals are going to want to try and continue that trend and just keep it as close as possible, low scoring. And the Giants, I think, are going to want to come out and be like, let's stomp these guys. What are your overall thoughts and expectations, especially two coming from the Giants, coming off a loss like that? Like, how do you bounce back?
For me, the Cardinals, I think, actually exceeded expectations in week 1. And so I feel like the sense of urgency there is not going to be quite the same as the sense of urgency on the Giants. They kind of just got off on the wrong foot on Sunday night, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, I've never seen a team just completely fall apart after having such a productive first drive. They got a penalty and then a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, and then it was just like they completely deflated. And so I think this week they're going to want to come out and put it on somebody. And to me, the energy should be really high for the New York Giants. If it's not, I would be very concerned for them going forward through the rest of the season, because it could feel like they're kind of quitting on themselves. And so that to me, they need to come out with a lot of energy. I do have them winning this game. They are just the more talented team. Especially when you line up that offense against this defense. Brian Dabble should definitely be able to scheme up a couple mismatches that will be productive for them. So the Arizona Cardinals, they do have a decent bit of injuries as well. LJ Collier, James Conner is also questionable, as well as Calvin Beachum, one of their offensive tackles. So,
something I wouldn't be too. A lot of those, especially we're recording this on Wednesday. This video will come out Thursday. Day 1 of practice for the next week. A lot of times they're questionable because they were limited. They have to put that. I don't read in too much into that unless if something specifically happens.
It's to me the level of impact players just being on the injury list. But granted, like you said, it could also just be, hey, this guy we gave Tuesday off because he had a heavy workload on Sunday type of thing. And so then because he took Tuesday off, he has to be on the injury report. I get that.
Absolutely. The thing for me, with coming in this game, the Giants, according to PFF, and rightfully so, just because they gave up 31 pressures, worst offensive line performance throughout the entire week 1. And then the Cardinals did actually end up having, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 6 sacks. Let me double check that. It's 6 sacks, second most, only behind the Cowboys, who played against the Giants. And so I am just curious how this is going to react and how the game's going to play out. I as well am also taking the Giants because I almost feel like I have to. Even though I think the feel-good story would be the Cardinals winning, and then especially the two absolutely throwing the Giants into a whirlwind. But I agree with you. Watching that first drive, because we were doing our live show every Sunday at 8:15. We have a watch party for the first half. Be sure to tune into that game. I know, but we just kind of stopped watching the game because it just seemed like the Giants kept making errors, and it was almost the way I was thinking about it. I think one of the things too, when the Giants are going to come back, it's like when you have those days or those games where it's like everything is going to go wrong. Like, it's not just one tiny little thing that go wrong and you end up losing, but you played so well, worked so hard, just one mistake. It's every mistake you could possibly make happened. And I almost wonder if it was like, okay, good, we got all that out of the way. And so I think they're going to come out. They're on paper clearly the better team. They really need to address this offensive line for sure. And so it's funny too, looking at PFF, if the name's in red of the projected starting lineup for the offensive line the next week, it's a weakest link. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen for the Giants are in red. So I think that's just an indication of
Is Andrew Thomas the only one that's not?
He's the only one that's not on there. And then Evan Neal was the first name to pop up. I think he said he had 11 pressures last week, and you are going up against that Cowboys defense. So
that is really hard because that's such a tough assignment. And usually the longer an offensive line plays together, the better that they get, because half of offensive line play, in my opinion, is just chemistry, knowing where your guy is. If they run a stunt, you're switching, just things like that. And so that to me, I think is going to be critical there, them just getting reps together. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, but no, this is going to be an interesting one. I think it could be close, but I do see the Giants kind of just being ahead and kind of staying there. Like, I think the Cardinals might keep it interesting, but we'll just have to see. What's your score prediction for this one? I'm going to go with 27-21 with the Cardinals scoring a late touchdown to make it 21.
Make it interesting. I was just going to go 28-21. Yeah, I think it'll just be a couple of picks. Sorry, just a couple of touchdowns, just a couple of routine touchdowns. So, but I do think the Giants are going to get off to a hot start.
Yeah, I think so too. They should come out with a lot of energy. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win this game. Is it going to be the New York Giants, the Arizona Cardinals? Let us know what you think. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.